Hi there, and welcome to the February matches here at UK HADO of the UK National League, hosted at HADO Arena Coventry. For those of you who know what you're looking at, obviously it's our 7-game league format. The graphic just next to us there, talking you through the different rounds. If you're new to league and want to know more about it, how the different rounds work, please go and check out a video that explains it all. If you know what you're doing or just happy to dive straight in, then let's go look at the match. So this is IDK versus Synergy, game 1 of the February tournament. So obviously we have IDK playing on red and Synergy on blue. They finished IDK first place, Synergy second place in the December tournament, which is why they're now our opening match. Nice opening play from both sides, lots of good evasion work coming through. Shield there from Paris just to break up the flow a little bit. Point piece after the first 20 seconds. IDK now just starting to edge slightly ahead. Nice groundwork there from Paris. Seeing a lot of focus from Shmai on the near side, from Synergy onto Paris. Just kind of pulling him, taking pressure off the other players to an extent. As Paris is splitting his attention there quite clearly between both Shmai and Ash on the front line. Means he's dropping cross shots into Ash. Some for hits, some just for forcing him to dodge when he could more effectively firing. Nehar's holding fairly solid on the back line there for Synergy. IDK team as a whole moving really nicely. Good play in how they're controlling the game field. And obviously starting to have a commanding lead here as we come into the last 10 seconds. Done a very good job there of locking down Synergy's structure and setup. Oh yeah, 8 points to 4. Win for IDK in game 1 of 7. So we're looking here at see the pattern there, where the points have been scored to go through the match. Milo there, as ever for IDK, topping there on KOs and hit rate. He's very, very dangerous player. He's very good at sort of dropping himself out of your line of sight, not being paid attention to, whilst Paris grabs everyone's attention and Milo racks up the points. So nice play all round and good general tactics there from Synergy and IDK. So moving on to a bit of a summary point there. Obviously you were in the match. Tell us your thoughts.
It was good. It was good. Looking at this match as we sort of go through it now. It was fairly close. Yes, IDK leading the way, but fairly close up to about 40, 50 seconds into the game, and then IDK sort of increasing that lead. Taking a look at the stats in that game, were all fairly similar. I think 4-3-2-1. I think apart from Milo went 4-2-3-1, so we're all the same sort of stats.
Yeah, very firepower orientated,
which works really, really well for both teams, especially Nehar in Team Synergy. Used to take more of a reserve role, now taking more of an aggressive role. And it works in places. But yeah, IDK still keeping that lead is impressive.
Yeah, I'm just saying that sort of movement and play from Paris on the front edge here that really sort of locked and held Shmai's attention, which almost negated Shmai from the match because he was so focused on Paris. Right, next round.
Yes.
Okay, game 2. So game 2 is the scale 1 game. So players can put the points where they like, apart from the scale stat. So this is all about accuracy. This tends to be lower point scoring because you have to chip away at your opponents. You can't get those one-shot kills. So first points on the board there already from IDK as we move up towards the 20-second mark. Good evasion movement from both sides. Still a huge amount of focus though, unfortunately, from Shmai on this near side, pretty much constantly engaging onto Paris, whilst Paris is splitting his shots across the field still. On the halfway mark, just 2 points in it now. So really dangerous to let any kind of lead develop here. Shmai actually pulling away from Paris, and Paris immediately moving to re-engage and get his attention back. Shmai doing a better job though, trying to move away from Paris and focus his fire onto Kay and Milo on that wall there. And Synergy pulling this back to 3 points apiece, going to 20 seconds. There's an immediate jump in Synergy's performance there the moment that Shmai managed to pull himself away from Paris and focus onto the other members of IDK. Generally really good ground movement, but 2 points now lead for IDK, and that's going to be a second IDK win. So there's 2 games out of 7, currently gone to, 2 games out of the 2 played, and out of the series of 7 to IDK. But it was a real shift up in performance there, in how the game went the moment that we saw Shimai break away from Paris and start to target the other members of IDK. Obviously, it's the scale 1 game. You're never going to see huge accuracy.
No, but taking a look at IDK stats, they're all having the same stats, which I think they did that in the December tournament as well.
Yep. So look at the bit of the replay as it's coming through now. Yeah, we said obviously it's about the skill and it's about its accuracy. A little bit of a mix up there between the stats. Sinji going for a mix of max speed and max charge rate, whereas IDK going 4-1, 4-1 across the board. Thoughts on that?
Fairly similar to sort of game 1 as well. Sort of, yes, IDK taking the lead, Synergy slowly pulling it back. But yes, you'll notice sort of halfway through the game, Shimai comes over to my side, I move over to his side, so sort of crossing over that pitch again, sort of swapping sides, trying to look at the opposite player is really important.
Yeah, seeing there's that real clear Paris immediately moving across to try to re-engage Shimai, get his attention back, and Shimai this time hasn't gone for it, and he started splitting across the team. There's a lot more pressure coming on Milo and Kay on the back line here. You can see him having to do an awful lot more motion.
Yes.
Here we go then. Game 3. So game 3, this is our 2v2 freestyle. So obviously you get a very different flow to it. So we have got Ash and Neha on the pitch for Sinji, and we have got Paris and Milo there on the pitch for IDK.
It's a very different type of sort of style that you have to follow, because you get a lot more space with 2v2s, and you sort of lose that third player that you would have on the pitch. So now you really both have to step up your game. And usually it seems to be more of an aggressive game style from both teams.
Yeah, see, nice play across the pitch from both teams. Just 1 point difference here, coming up on the 30-second mark. 2 points difference now. If anything, the play from IDK here not as strong as in some of the other rounds. But Paris still performing his effectively sort of standard role here of that constant attention grab and try and hold your focus on him whilst Milo racks up the points.
It works.
Oh, it does. It really works. And they're a fantastic combo as a team.
Yes. Milo again taking 4 kills in that game.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. So Paris is just so good at grabbing the opponent's attention and locking onto him, and then just evading.
Yeah.
The art is really to almost ignore Paris. But obviously, if you ignore him too much, he starts scoring points.
Yes. I'll take 70 metres moved in that game. Not bad. Quite happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously you can see that only 11% accuracy there from Paris, 31% from Milo.
Yeah, if you can focus on Paris, then it just allows
the
other players
to
to
like
step back.
So talk to us on this one again. So obviously you've got both IDK players on the back line. You saw Sinji split back and front.
Yes, I wanted to take more of a front role to give Nene the sort of that space on that back wall.
Yeah.
So I take more of a front roll, she take more of a back roll. Sometimes I was under a lot of pressure, so I have to step back. But then when I'm not under pressure, I can step forward and just create more space for both of us. Now,
I'd say although there's cross shots and things going across from the players here, there's definitely much more of a tactical focus from IDK looking at this, of trying to focus for a single Synergy player at the same time. Whereas Sinji, you guys seem to split your fire between IDK.
Yes.
Which obviously takes that pressure off. I mean, we've seen in historically some of these 2v2 games, if you can get that rhythm going of both cross-firing onto the same player and taking them down, then give you a huge advantage. But here we go, next game. So moving into game 4 here. So this is back to our 3v3, and this is the Shields game, which fortunately we've not had the issues with from previous tournaments so far, which we'll hope will stay that way throughout the tournament. And we're seeing a fairly standard shield meta of 5-2-1 on the shield builds across the different sides. And looking at it, so IDK currently really controlling this game. Shields that they're putting up are just not being taken down quite quickly enough, which is unusual because getting those shields down is a real strength of Singe, is something they train a lot. But those IDK shields are definitely staying up for too long in this. And they're getting a really dominant lead out of it in the process. Singe is starting to pull the points back here, but 20 seconds left to play in the Shields game. To get a 2-point lead is quite significant. Nice pullback there again. Good shield to break up from the line of play. Singe pulled it back to 4 points apiece. Coming to the last few seconds now. And IDK again with another point on the board there, and that'll be an IDK game. All 5 points there gone to Milo from IDK. Now, I think the initial stats there, and I think show it's not short of shots coming out of out of Synergy by any means, or necessarily a lack of accuracy. If you look at the stats there, basically K and Paris are really just there to keep the pressure off Milo and keep him shielded. Whereas I think he was just left unprotected protected for too long. Just run back through it. Obviously, as well as we go, but it did seem that given how quickly you guys normally focus fire and take the shields down, their shields stayed up for longer than would have been expected, and it seemed to give more cover and more opportunity to get early points on the board.
Yes, it's trying to train Nehar up to be a little bit more aggressive of shooting players as well as taking the shields down, whereas her only role previously were shields only, effectively. And then with myself on shields as well, it was let them put shields up first, we'll put shields up second, and hopefully our shields will last longer. That sometimes wasn't the case. Yeah.
It's that problem though, isn't it? Once a team starts to get a lead, starts to move ahead, especially in the games where you've got these stat restrictions on you, that it's much harder to try and pull that point score back. Yes. I mean, you did a fantastic job. You're 4-0 down, you pulled it back to 4-all. Yeah. It's only just a final score in those dying seconds, so it could have gone either way.
As we're coming up to sort of this mark and we get these final 2 points, you'll notice IDK sort of go, oh, actually, we need to get this point.
I know come to some previous matches there, is that you get this sort of like last 10 seconds and there's this real step change in their speed and aggression, and they absolutely fly in those last few seconds. It's almost basically, if you're going to have a shield, you need to put it up in those last few seconds to take the bite out of that speed boost that they're going with. And they always seem, it's that if they're going to close the gap on you, that's when it's going to happen.
1v1.
Yep.
So myself and Kaylin, Ghost. Real good game. Both on the same stats.
Yep. So same meta both players. No point score on the board yet. Just past 15 seconds played. Chipping away though on Ash's life marker. Starting to clip away on K as well. Obviously, in this game, it's difficult because there's so much room for your opponent to move in. They're focused on your shots coming in. That you've got to try and always pull them into a movement trap to get those shots in. Really nice evasion there from Kay, and a straight shot back onto taking Ash's final marker there. 30 seconds played, just 1 point in it. Now this match is really hard. If you go, who are generally the first player to score tends to win. Not every time, but they've definitely got a big advantage. If you ever go 2 points down, the odds of coming back are really, really slim.
Yep.
I mean, I have seen it happen, but
Yeah.
the odds are massively stacked against you. 2 points to 1, 5 seconds left to play. Needs a one-shot kill to pull this back at that point. And unfortunately, it's Kay that gets the kill. From your perspective. From his perspective, he's quite happy with that.
Oh, of course. But yeah, going 2-0 down, and then I realised I got the kill. I was like, right, I'm on that front line, as we'll see in the replay in a second. And it was, can I get that kill? Not enough time. I'll take 113 metres there.
Yeah, I mean, movement's good. But obviously, Kay's got you on everything else down the line there.
100%.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. There is no... I don't think there's truly a decisive meta yet for the 1v1s. Because people tend to go for shot speed, but I don't know. I don't think it's as all encompassing as it sometimes seems.
Not quite.
So, yeah, as you said, looking back on the replay here, we've got you guys moving nicely around the arena. So your first clips there going from K onto your life markers quite early on.
Just trying to keep him busy as possible.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm just moving quite a lot on that backward as well.
Yeah.
It's good with this sort of game. You can keep each other busy. You've got a lot more space to move.
A lot of transition across the space. It's that whole thing. It's how do you pull them into a position where you can trap them and take that movement option off them. It's almost it's the whole thing of needing a flurry of shots, but obviously they've got to be coming quick enough because they've got so much time to view it and watch it.
Things like cross shots in this game don't exist.
Yeah, they don't exist. You've got full focus on the other player. I suppose it's almost a case of, is it worth staying on the centre line and taking the range out? Well, let's get back to a game. Enough analysis. Right, so we are on the HADO 20. So this is our restricted point game, where the players are only allowed to spend 8 out of their 18 bonus points, giving a total of 20 skill levels across the team. So this one looks at playing with limited resources, how you want to split them across your team. So there's a lot of tactical element to it. And to extend a little bit of almost like poker face about it for how you're going to, can you convince the other team about to misrepresent where you've gone and what you've done with your stats. So variation on the two teams there. IDK taking a look with shielding in there, and Synergy looking at rate of fire for their extra points. So it's 1 point in it here, coming up on the 30-second mark played. 2 points apiece. Nice play there from Synergy. Definitely seeing neither Ash or Nayar particularly falling into it, but Jamai is definitely starting to try and move away a bit from the focus on Paris that we were seeing in those initial games. Obviously still is marked player opposite him, but we've definitely seen some more cross shots going across into other people. Just 1 point in it there. Again, 6th game there in the series for IDK, and again, all the points coming out of Milo. For IDK. So obviously Shemai is kind of mirroring him role-wise, but IDK are definitely doing a better job of closing Shemai down than unfortunately Synergy are of closing Milo down.
Yes. Sort of two metas within this sort of game mode, and both teams sort of going for one player having full stats and having two sort of reserve roles. The only other option is to split the points between you, so you've got 8 points in total. 4 to one and 4 to another.
Yeah. I mean, I know in December we saw the overall meta being to have a firepower player, one player with nothing and one player with 3 shields. That definitely seemed to be the mode in December. It looks like both yourself and IDK have shifted that meta up and varied it out for this time round. But yeah, interesting to see. I mean, definitely that mix of shield and firepower that we saw in December was very effective. Any particular reason why you chose to change?
Because we noticed that in November they went for shield play, and we are relatively good at taking shields down historically and shooting lots of shots. So you're going to put a shield in front of us, we're going to get it down. Kind of worked, but not enough.
Yep.
Not enough to win this game anyway.
Right. Final game. Here we go. Game 7, so we're back to 3v3 freestyle. So initial points there on board for IDK. 2 points on the board now, 10 seconds played. Sinji really needs to get themselves into this game quickly. Shields up there from IDK, just again using really nice edges to break up the flow of play. Points on the board now for Sinji. 2 point advantage though still for IDK. 1 point advantage for IDK now. Starting to pull it back in. 2 points on the board now, 30 seconds played. Sinji really need to get that gap closed. We know that basically the further you go through the match, the more dangerous IDK become. So even if you've got points advantage coming to the last 10-15 seconds, you're in trouble. And you certainly can't go into the points deficit. So 30 seconds remaining. Sinji still needing now 2 points to close that gap on IDK. IDK now it's starting to really start to open that gap. 4 point lead now, 20 seconds played, 5 point lead. This is not looking like a great finish for Synergy. Yeah, you can clearly see there that Synergy are now moving maybe about half speed. I think they've accepted the outcome here. I'm not putting quite the same amount of effort into dodging as they were at the beginning of that game.
Very, very true. All players getting kills?
Yeah, points across the board. Again, majority of the IDK points there going to Milo. Yeah. Paris though actually topping out on accuracy. Again, Nehar on firepower, Shimar movement.
Yeah. Changed it around. The first in the first freestyle, we all went attack, and now it's changed around slightly. Again, IDK doing a similar build.
But they really got their eye on both you and Shimai in that one.
Yep.
With 5 knockouts apiece on you. So what changed? What was? I mean, obviously there was a bit of a stat shift in you guys. You now shifted to a technician build rather than assassin build. They've stayed basically on assassin builds. So was that? Do you think that was the only real shift here, or was there anything else?
That was the only shift. We had an idea that's what they were going to do. We didn't believe they were going to do shields, but we know historically Nehar's very good at shooting lots of shots, creating a lot of havoc on the pitch. So hopefully moving them enough for me and Shimon to step forward, get those few crucial kills. But it didn't quite work this time. But yeah, coming down, 30 seconds left into the game.
Yep.
We're only down by 1 point, so it's okay.
Yeah, and then it starts to accelerate.
Yep, and then they start to go, and they do this historically in every single game.
Yeah.
Gets to this point and they push.
And the actual one of the other big differences here is that unlike game 1, where Shimai was pretty much negated by Paris, he's broken away from Paris completely here. But it hasn't actually helped.
No, we have to
which you would have thought you'd expect it that would have been advantageous.
But yeah, very well done by IDK.
Yeah, really good game. Okay, so it's end of game 1. Obviously, keep on the channel, follow on for the February match 2, and don't forget to subscribe, like, share, all the good stuff while you're here.